This
Sorry,
is...
anybody who filters in after this, we'll make fun of them. Oh yeah, we're just going to make sure, because this is an excellent opportunity for us to show you guys some more shelf life, maybe. So we're just going to test to make sure that, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, and yeah, if you do anything, yeah, if you hit play all or play all any of those things, when it first comes up, we'll get music and stuff like that. If you want to test the audio.
But for a moment, I just want to look at the ceiling and pretend I'm inside of a giant snake. It really looks like scales, right?
Guys, I'm drinking grape Faygo because I'm in Michigan.
Verner's.
Faygo.
Verner's.
I mean, Verner's is like one flavor.
Delicious.
Faygo makes, what, 158 different flavors or something?
No.
Like that? If you're a juggalo.
What does that mean?
Yeah, just something about grape soda. I try not to consume too much sugar, but grape soda has its hold on me.
Well, it's like if you drink something standing up, there's no calories in it, right? This is not our Q&A, by the way. We're just stalling for a few minutes.
This is my Faygo routine. Prohibiting it to roll.
Oh.
Weird.
Okay.
Should we
Well,
pop-
then we don't have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Just leave that up on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, great. Can always.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
So,
we'll figure it
I
out.
don't know who was here yesterday for our Q&A, but we did just sort of the same kind of thing that we're going to do today. So if you had questions that weren't answered, feel free to just hop up. We have a microphone because this room is larger, not because we need it, because I'm sure you guys all have wonderful vocal projection. But if you want to hop up to the microphone, if you have any questions, just hop up and then we'll try to get through any questions that
Because we want to make sure that with the time that we have today, that we answer the questions, you know, and talk about the kinds of things that you guys want to hear. So,
Does anyone have any questions, or do you want us just to
we'll
go
start
ahead,
with
hop up?
questions, and
Yeah,
if it
hop up.
starts to hop up and line up, it shouldn't take long. We'll get to, man, even if everybody in here had a question, I bet
We
you
could
could
probably do
take
it,
a
yes. Except the mic's not on? Oh, that's very exciting.
We don't really need it. You can tell us your
And
question.
we
Probably hear it.
can repeat it for the rest of the audience so that way everyone hears what you were asking.
Hello? Oh, that's right.
Oh, never mind, it's working. So.
Totally fine.
Okay, so at another con, I asked Johnny Young Bosch to ask Yosuke as Minarakami to marry him. So can I have a response from Yosuke?
Absolutely.
What's the response?
Wait, what? You want me to marry you? Okay. I would also marry JYB in real life if I could. He's so cool though, right?
He's pretty cool.
Man.
He's like a karate, is it karate?
Oh, he's more kung fu.
Kung fu, like a kung fu master and musician, and he's a cool
He's
dude.
just a badass. I mean, how many people have seen iShine perform? Have anybody?
They're great, aren't they?
If you ever get a chance, they rock super hard.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
That's
All right, so
Good to see you again.
good to see you. So Yuri, yesterday at your panel you mentioned that you speak Japanese and you used to work for the Japanese government.
Uh-huh.
So I'm curious to know, how did you learn Japanese and how did you get to work for the Japanese government?
Okay, two-part question. Great. I learned to speak Japanese. I started in my very last year of high school. They just started offering Japanese as a language, and I had studied other languages before that, and I had traveled a lot. My dad worked for the U.S. government, so we grew up all over the place, and so I had an exposure to a lot of different languages, but never something as cool and interesting as Japanese. It was always like German and French, and things we learned in high school. Plus, I was already obsessed with Japanese culture and history at that point, and so it seemed like a slam dunk for me to start learning Japanese. And so I started it, loved it, then when I went to college, continued it. As a matter of fact, chose the college I went to because they had a burgeoning Japanese program. So I studied it for 2 years in college, and then did my junior year abroad in Japan on an exchange program. So I did a year at a Japanese school in Osaka, and then came back, finished out my year at William & Mary in Virginia, and was not done yet. Like I needed more. I knew from previous experience that you need that immersion time in a foreign country to really get the language. So I found a way to go back, and that was through the JET program, the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. And I went back because I already spoke a fair amount of Japanese. I went back rather than as a teacher, a language teacher, I went back as a coordinator for international relations, which was somebody who basically embedded in the international relations department in a town in Japan, and helped coordinate the teachers who would come over to teach English in Japanese schools and do just sort of other manner of things. And it was a great way for me to get back to Japan and learn more and have more fun and experience more of the country. So I spent 2 years back down near Kyoto doing that type of work. And it was super fun, but I had unfortunately fallen in love with acting earlier on and wanted to give that a try. Like I thought to myself, bureaucratic, the bureaucracy of government work will always be there. But if I don't want to look back in 30 years and go, oh, I wonder if I could have done that acting thing. So I decided to go back, to leave that job, come back to the States, and try acting, and I haven't looked back. Because it's so much more fun than government bureaucracy. and I even get to use my Japanese sometimes still. So that was how that all came about. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys actually don't have to applaud when we say things, but thank you.
We were applauding her question.
But it was a great question.
Hi. I'm probably curious if you had this question before, but this is to do with both of you. With Sasuke and Temari, since they've rarely interacted in Naruto, how would you think they've interacted together if they were say a potential ship or whatever?
If they actually shipped Temari and Sasuke,
we always joked about that, obviously, because we are married.
That's our OTP right there.
And for a while, at the very beginning, I actually thought that might be where it was going. Because in a way, Sasuke is sort of the bad boy, right? And when Temari when the character sort of came into the series, it seemed like she was going to be going the way of the bad girl. And then, of course, she evolved as the storyline continued. And she matured and became less of the bad girl. But it seemed like that might be actually a really good kind of duo, because they sort of were both on the outs a little. And
then in the end, they ended up, pairing the bad guy and the bad boy and the good girl with Sakura. But yeah, I mean, if that pairing had actually come to pass, well, it did in real life. It would be much like this, I guess.
Except I would have the power of wind and a giant fan. That would be awesome.
That's true. That would be so much cooler.
I would know ninjutsu. I don't know. It'd be cool.
And I would just be angry all the time.
All the time.
So maybe actually the real life pairing is probably better than because if you think about it, if she was the bad girl and he was the bad boy, with that they would have burned out.
Yeah.
They would have killed each other.
Yeah.
Probably.
That first argument, it would have all been over with.
Right.
Yeah, they wouldn't have made it past their first argument.
Yeah. No. Good point. I'll take the IRL OTP. Thank you. Sir. Thank you, Joe Mark. There you go.
Oh, I like your style, Joe.
Grab the mic.
Well done, sir.
Hi, my name is Mike, and I had sort of a two-part question.
Sure.
Hit it.
The first part is, how did you two meet? And the second part is, how did you both get involved with Naruto and find out about it and get your roles?
Great question. Yes, we met 1 million years ago.
It only feels that way.
We were living in New York, and we got cast in a thesis film for an NYU grad student, his thesis project, and we were working opposite each other. We liked each other.
That's true, but we were totally professional, and we waited till the film was over. We waited till the movie was over before I asked her out.
But I was actually dating someone else.
But she was dating somebody, so I was like,
So I was like, I'm sorry. No. So I said, I'm sorry, I've got a boyfriend. We can just be friends. He was like, oh man.
It's like, I was like, okay, that sounds cool. And then like after a couple times we hang out, I'm like, no, I don't want to just be your friend. See you.
And then I was like, oh wait, I really like him. I don't want to not be friends with him. And then I was like, I guess I better break up with this guy that I'm dating. So I broke up with my boyfriend. And then we didn't date for what, 3 months? 2 months?
Yeah, we worked it out over the span of about a year, and then we dated for 6 months and got married. You know, I guess
We eloped.
when we eloped. We got married in Vegas, like classic Vegas style.
We didn't have Elvis, so we weren't quite classic Vegas
That's
style.
true. That's
That
true.
was pretty good. And the way your second part of your question was about Naruto. We were already living out in Los Angeles by then, and we had been doing some voiceover work at that point in time. And Yuri was already working on, what show were you working on with Studiopolis? Was it?
I just started working on a couple. I was working Digimon.
Digimon, maybe.
Some Digimon thing and Zatch Bell.
Yeah.
Some other things that Studiopolis was.
And when they got the title, because a lot of times, you know, the different studios basically kind of bid to get the titles in and see if they're the ones that are going to be able to produce it. And so when Studiopolis got Naruto, they basically did several rounds of auditions, you know, based on which were the main characters and the characters that were going to appear at the beginning of the series versus characters that were coming later. And so for the first round of auditions, Yuri was one of the people that came in. And you got to audition for Naruto too.
Yeah, I had been sort of, up until that point, I just played like hero type characters. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I remember trying to, you know, I really did my best Naruto thing, and I don't know, maybe it worked, maybe it wouldn't.
Miley's so much better at it.
Yeah, I know. That was actually not so much my Naruto impression as my Miley Flanagan impression. Although it would have been a lot dirtier, actually. What's the age in here? I know it's Sunday.
No, I think there's a couple kids.
Yeah, I should probably. So then they had me also read for Sasuke, and that clicked somehow, and it was thank you, and it was super fun for me because, like I said, I had just been sort of playing young, bright-eyed hero types up until then, and Sasuke was the first character that allowed me to access a deeper, darker place into who I am, which was good for me, I think.
And then I got to go in for the second round of auditions. They had already auditioned Sakura's and things like that, and so I went in for the second round, which was like 10-10 and those sort of characters.
Yeah, and that's how it all went down. And you guys responded so well to the dub. We got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, we were terrified going into it because I didn't know the show before I started going. You know, and then I did a little research and I was like, oh my god, people are really looking forward to this, and people are really scared we're going to mess it up. and so then I got scared that I was going to mess it up. But everything worked out okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello, my name's Robert.
Hi, Robert.
And I was just curious. It's a bit of a long question.
Okay.
When I know a lot of voice actors, they get a role, especially with American cartoons, and they keep coming back. They like, oh, I like that character. They're doing this, but they're coming back. But has there ever been a time when you've been doing like with Ben 10, you've done it in one take, like from Alien Force to Ultimate Alien, and then say, I'll just be blunt, come into Omniverse, and Ben's characterization was completely different. Did you ever feel like, what? And this is not what I was doing with Ben before. I mean, I'm doing it because I love doing the character, but was there ever a point like in Omniverse you felt like, this isn't Ben? I'm doing the role, but
Absolutely, yeah. The interesting thing, because it was a segue from when we started Alien Force. They were like, okay, we started out with Ben as, you know, a 10-year-old, and now we're doing sort of a time skip, and now we see him at 15. So it was a different style, even though the designs were different. And then when they went from Alien Force to Ultimate Alien, it was basically just an extension of Alien Force. It was, you know, the characters were pretty much the same. But then when they rebranded, much like they did from taking, you know, Ben from 10 to 15, they changed the style. They really changed the styles. And because I think they'd gotten a lot of feedback that people, you know, liked the younger Ben, they sort of younged it up a little bit. And so I said, well, what do you want me to do differently? And they said, you don't have to do anything differently. Which was, you know, confusing as an actor to hear. I mean, everything else was changing, but we wanted to do the same thing. Which was tough. And yet, I was really grateful that they asked me to stay on through a rebrand. Usually, when they rebrand a series like that, they change everything. If they're going to change the style, they'll change the actors and everything, even if people like the actor before. They just want to mix it up. So I was honored that they asked me to even stay on for it. So I was just happy to be there. But they've got now there's a new Ben 10. So at least and they got somebody else to do it. So or went back to the original with Tara Strong. So at least they're keeping it in the family.
Not our family.
Yeah, not right. Different Tara.
Different Tara.
Not as good Tara in my opinion, but that's just me. Yeah, I was happy to get to be with the series as long as I did, even through all those changes.
Yeah, but was there anything specific in On the Verge that you felt like it doesn't feel like Ben? Did you feel like they were like writing them way off, or did you guys remember like a point like that?
It was I think the dynamics were tough because I had gotten really used to and had fallen in love with the triangle of Ben, Gwen, and Kevin. And I loved working with those guys. It was like a family. And when the new show came in and they were gone. And a Rook, I had a new partner. It was an interesting new development, but I always miss the camaraderie of the three of us. I mean, there were some really emotional things that happened in the stories that we didn't necessarily get throughout, by getting rid of that. So it was tough. It was always nice when they came back for little cameos, but I miss those guys. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I'm Shara.
Hi, Shar.
Big fan.
Thank you.
I just have a question for both of you. With all of the voice work that you've done through video games and TV and whatnot, is there a favorite character that either of you have voiced specifically?
This is the hardest question.
I know.
It's the hardest question.
I love to ask the
Because
hard
depending
ones.
on what day it is, I'll choose totally, and I can never choose just one. And depending on what day it is, I'll choose. Because there's definitely something about.
He just starts listing his resume.
we
So
could be here all day.
I think what's hard about that question is, as an actor, you're trying to make choices that fulfill the character, right? You're trying to put a piece of yourself that you feel is akin to what the characteristics of the character are. So there's always a little bit of you, no matter how different you are from that character, there's always a little bit of you in the character, right? Because there's that piece of you that you've decided is the part that lines up. And so there's a part of you in all the characters. So to say that you don't like one of your characters is to say you don't like part of yourself, which is always a little sort of mind game. And then there's
There are things about myself I don't like, though. So.
Sure. But it's rarely the part that you put into the character, though. It's not
Right,
usually.
right.
Nothing wrong with self-deprecation.
Yeah, self-deprecation is always there. But then also, there's something to be said for getting to play an iconic character when people are already familiar with that character, like getting to play Superman or something like that.
Getting to play Wonder Woman.
Sure.
Or Superman and Wonder Woman.
Right?
Come on.
Or getting to play a fan favorite, because when you have that sort of response and you see that people are really receptive to what you've done, you can't help but start to feel more proud of the work that you did and more excited about the character because people are responding so positively. It was the same as like giving somebody a Christmas present. If you give somebody a Christmas present and they're like, whatever, then you're kind of like, oh, even if you had been really excited to give it, but if you give somebody a Christmas present and you're not sure about it and they go, oh, this is exactly what I've wanted, I've always wanted this, you're gonna be like, yeah, and you get excited. So in a way, when you play a character that there's a big fan response to, you get so excited about it that it's just, you get, I don't know, you get somehow more attached to that character, I think.
So that said, who are a couple of your favorites?
Well, I guess Tamari, because I've gotten to play her for so long and people do seem to respond to her and they like her. But it's also fun to get to play a character for such a long period of time because she evolves and grows and I get to evolve and grow and play that. And then of course, like you said, Wonder Woman. I don't know. I mean, there's also characters that are fun, like in Drakengard, like Zero is an insane character. She's just crazy and I like that and I get to play a lot of crazy characters. What about you?
Also, one of the things that affects my love of playing a character is sometimes the group of people I get to work with. And a lot of what we do, we're working solo. We don't get to work with all the other actors at the same time, especially when we're dubbing and in video games. But occasionally we'll get to work with a good group of people, like on a show like Ben 10 or Young Justice or Legion of Superheroes. I would love showing up to every recording session because I love the people that I worked with. And if we had a guest star on, I was always excited to see who that person was going to be. So those were some of my favorites. So working with being Ben and playing Superman and Lagoon Boy and Icicle Jr. on Young Justice, just because I loved working with that group of people. Working with Steve Jaros on the Saints Row series of video games. He was like the head writer on that. We became really good friends, so I have fond memories of the characters I played on that. Getting to play Gino and Kuma on Afro Samurai was an amazing experience.
It sounded amazing.
Thank you. It was, I mean, not a lot of shows out there like that, you gotta admit. It was something special. Prince of Persia, the Prince from the Prince of Persia games, because that was like my first big lead role in a video game, and it was just, I'll always have fun memories of that guy.
I told you he's gonna start listing his resume.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, suffice to say, then I said, Sasuke, because it allowed me to channel a darker part. But yeah, like I said, and like what Tara said, you put so much of yourself into it. It's hard to it's a Sophie's Choice situation.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Claire,
Hi, Claire.
and I've got kind of a two-part thing.
Do it. Oh my God, we're
friend-
so married.
My friend Victoria really loves Naruto, so could you say "Believe It" as Sasuke for her?
Absolutely. For those of you who don't know, Sasuke would be the last person to say "Believe it." Believe it.
And the second part is, what was your favorite part of acting as Shinra on Durarara?
My favorite part of playing Shinra on Durarara was just how cool the show is. I love the show. It's dark and weird, which are my favorite kind of shows. Says something about me, probably. But, and he fits, he's an interesting part of that puzzle, because he is also very dark and weird, but you'd never know it from, his sensibilities, his performance. He's super upbeat, and he's super in love, and he's super awkward, but he's also really good at what he does. He's a professional. And yet, he essentially held his one true love's head hostage, for years because he didn't want her to leave. I mean, it's a twisted relationship, but he loves her so much. And I think that sort of, real, blind love, I think was one of the things that I loved about him. In the face of everything that, we're gonna try to make this shelf life
Oh,
thing
I
work.
see what's happening.
But so I think that was a characteristic of his that I just love. It was, and I've had so much fun. I hope they do more do that. I think we've done everything that they have available, but there might be more in the future. Who knows? I would hope.
And just one more thing that I just thought of. What was your favorite line that he's ever said?
Favorite line? I don't know.
What's your favorite line?
Yeah.
Any of the ones when he's talking to Celti, because
Like,
they're all
anything-
really funny.
Anything from that, was it OVA or was it just a weird arc in the series where he takes the carriage ride through the park with Celti and there's the werewolf and the real werewolf, but then there are the guys who were dressed as werewolves, and that was a super funny episode. And then of course he's talking to Isaiah on the phone and he was in the hospital, and yeah, I can't think of anything specific, but that's easily one of my favorite episodes.
Thank you.
Yeah, just pass it on back.
Hello.
Hi. I was wondering, how long you two been married, and do you have any children?
We have been married for almost 15 years. Can you believe that? Thank you. For a couple of actors who live in Los Angeles who got married in Las Vegas, I'd say that's pretty good.
That's forever.
Right?
That's forever.
Do you have any children?
We do.
We just had our first child after 15 years. He's almost 5 months old, and it's why we have dark circles under our eyes, and why sometimes you'll ask a question and we answer and you can't understand what we're saying.
Yeah.
Maxwell, you played the younger version of Maxwell in Helsing. how would you say his direction as Maxwell? How do you say his direction transition from being a child to being an adult?
I don't remember, or are we sure? Yeah, I mean, you guys generally know better than I do. I remember playing Pip on Hellsing Ultimate, but did I play young Maxwell? Can anybody else confirm that? I thought Pip was my big...
Unless they had you do just the young voice of Maxwell.
It's possible.
Because sometimes when we're in session, they're like, hey, would you mind reading these few lines?
So I don't know exactly how to answer that question. I'm sorry, but...
What Pip?
Oh, but Pip. Yeah, Pip's one of my favorite characters ever. Once again, because I speak French, I got to use that. I got to speak French as the character. I got to use the French accent. And
I love that you say once again. Earlier you were talking about Japanese. You haven't told these people that you speak French and German and Japanese.
Right.
Right.
So I speak some languages.
Yeah. So.
And a lot of people think I'm probably a spy.
I think he is. I'm pretty sure he is.
And the way I cover for actually being a spy is I say I'm probably a spy,
which means that he definitely is.
Definitely a spy.
Yeah.
Another question for you, Tara.
Yes.
You play Eva in Monster?
Yeah.
So, what are some major differences between you and Eva?
I'm not an alcoholic. I would say that's probably the primary difference. I'm also probably not quite as crazy as she is. I don't know, you would have to... she's pretty crazy and she's an alcoholic.
You know, for somebody...
She's drunk pretty much the entire show.
Tara doesn't drink.
I don't drink.
And never has. For somebody who has never really had a drink...
I was an amazing alcoholic on the show.
You're an amazing drunk on that show.
Thank you.
That's acting, kids, right there.
Stay safe. Don't
Stay safe,
drive.
kids.
Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and do voiceover. Yeah.
If you have a chance to live in Japan permanently, would you do it?
That's a good question. I have thought, in the past, because I did spend several years there, I wondered if I could live in Japan, if I could go and just live the rest of my life there. I don't think that I could. I also think it would be very hard for me to get the acting opportunities that I have without living in Los Angeles. And my job makes me so happy that I don't think that I could live there for the rest of my life, but I often dreamt of it. Because I certainly have not finished out my time there. I'd still love to spend more time there.
And it would be easier for you than me because the language. Yeah.
Because language.
Although most people in Japan, when we were visiting, because we visited, most people speak English, so it's not completely, it's just reading all the transit and stuff like that was always tricky for me. I was glad he was with me. Yeah.
Hi.
That's an excellent sweater, by the way.
Thank you. I just got it yesterday.
Is it knit?
Yeah, it's really soft.
And did you get it here at the show?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
Time
great.
to go to the dealer's room.
I feel good about it.
Good. Yes, you should.
Okay, so watching Naruto, I watched it like way back in the day when I was like 12.
Mm-hmm.
We all see like Naruto and Sasuke have their like rivalry going on, but they're actually like really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So when he started going more towards the dark side, like was that hard for you? Like how it affected their friendship? Like were you invested in the character?
Absolutely. I mean, arguably, even though when they're...
Because I was like, no, stop, what's happening?
Oh, I know. and it's hard because you want everybody to be friends, especially two guys like that.
Don't kill each other.
Don't kill each other. I know. And yet, tell me that doesn't make it more interesting.
It so does.
That they had, that they fell apart like that, and that Sasuke wanted nothing to do with it, and you'd only find out later, why. And then that story kept changing. But the fact that, when it came right down to it, in the crux, it was always hard for him to really break that bond.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that made it fascinating.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but it's tough. It's, conflict is tough, but it also makes stories more interesting.
Very true. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I just had to ask, I'm a DJ Khaled fan, and I was just wondering, Yuri, if you could say Major Key Alert in Sasuke's voice. That's not too much time.
Wait, you're a DJ what fan?
Khaled fan.
DJ Khaled. I don't know DJ Khaled.
DJ Khaled.
I'm sorry.
His catchphrase is like Major Key Alert.
Major
something
key
good.
alert.
Major key
So I just wondered if you could say major key alert in Sasuke's
Yeah,
voice.
absolutely.
Well, thank you
Major
so much.
key alert.
Major key alert. Okay. Major key alert.
You made my day. Thank you so
I
much.
hope that gets sampled. I hope that,
That would
gets
be
sampled
amazing.
and used in some DJ set somewhere.
I'll see what I can do with it. Thank you so much.
Tweet it out to us so we hear it.
Hi, my name is Bryce. I'm a big fan of both of you guys. I've been having for many years.
Wait, what was your name?
Bryce.
Bryce?
Yes. My question is, since you, it's regarding Naruto, since you guys like have voiced like Sasuke and Temari for many years, what was the most difficult thing, going into Shippuden? Like, how much you had to change about your characters?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean,
Because, yeah, for those, Shippuden, sort of, there's like a time skip between where one series ends and everybody's sort of older and they're a little, I don't know about wiser, but definitely darker.
yeah, well, I don't know that my character actually didn't get darker.
That's
My
actually your
character sort of
only
matured.
got- yeah.
My character arguably was like the one character that didn't get darker. My character was like, no, now I'm a woman. She was like, I was a crazy kid before, and now I'm a grown up, and now I have to take life seriously. So I think in a way she became closer to me after Shippuden.
Like
after
your
the
natural-
jump,
your
to my
natural
natural sort
voice
of like,
and
I'm pretty responsible and take care of my stuff and sort of closer to my voice, So she became a little more akin with me. So that was a kind of an easy jump. I don't know.
Whereas Sasuke got even more hate-filled and, filled with vengeance and, obsessed with making things right. They did, that was one of the things that when we started recording Shippuden, they wanted to work on how our voices would be different or similar to the original character. And we worked on that for a while. He did feel a little older and a little more like he had done things and seen things that had truly, profoundly affected him. So I worked to get that into the voice, and then with occasional breakouts of crazy, that was the Orochimaru that was in him at that point that we had not seen much of before.
But a lot of times the way that you get to that part of the voice changing is really just point of view. It's not so much that we're doing something different with our voice, it's just that we're changing our POV a little bit, and that helps sort of hone everything in vocally for us because we are a little more serious, and that gives just a little more weight to the words or whatever that is, as opposed to us just doing something with pitch or variance vocally. It's more of a perspective for the character that helps create that darkness or the seriousness or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Second question.
Yeah.
It's for both of you. What were the most fun characters you ever voiced besides Temari and Sasuke?
Fun characters?
Sir Galeth Cooper and Sly Cooper
yeah, that was
through
pretty
time. That game, Sir Galeth Cooper was super fun.
I
Because
feel like
he was
crazy
just this
characters.
posh knight character.
I've had so many crazy characters. I'm like,
But do you have fun playing crazy characters?
yes, but they're all like Eva. Like we were talking about Monster earlier. She was crazy out of her nut, and she was awesome to play.
I love playing villains.
Yeah.
Because I'm a nice guy in real life, and when I get to play a villain, I get to be bad, and there are no social repercussions. It's all excused because it's just a character. So I know I got to play a villain in a western. This was not an animated show or a video game. At the end of last year, in this western called Any Bullet Will Do, and he was just crazy and despicable, and it was super fun because I rarely get asked to do that. The villains.
Yeah.
Villains for me.
I usually play villains. So.
But at the end of the day, getting to do what we do is fun. Period.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
How did you...
Now you film.
Hi.
Right? You got it. That's fair.
How did it feel working with Sanzaro on the set of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time?
Wait, how did it feel working with who?
Sanzaro and Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Sly Cooper Thieves in Time.
Yes, like Cooper, but who's Sanzaro?
The producer of the video game.
Oh, I didn't get to work with the producer of the video game. That's a common misconception, especially on shows that we dub. We never get to meet any of the original the original like production team, especially if they're Japanese, and even working on American games and American shows, we don't often meet the producers of the shows or the creators of the shows. We just work with the director. Sometimes the person who created the show is part of the process, but I never got to work with them.
But usually when they're bringing over a show or a video game or something, they're regionalizing it in the US, and that's just the whole US team. They bid for the title, and if they get the title in New York or in LA or in Texas or wherever that is, then that team has the director and the producer and then brings in the voice talent. And so you're never actually getting to connect or
with
see
the original
or
team.
meet the original team.
Because those guys are too busy to come and just change the language on it.
And they don't necessarily speak English. We don't speak Japanese. You were exception. But because of that, there wouldn't be a point for them to come over to listen to. They could just listen to the audio on like MP3s on their computer and go, yeah, that sort of sounds right to us.
And how do you get into character of a character that you play?
How do I get into a character?
Yeah.
Each character is different. I like to work with the director on that, to see what it is they need. Then I bring sort of naturally what comes from me. I like to, if they have any artwork of the character, I like to take inspiration from that. But sometimes they don't even, have that ready. So it's something we all work on together. But I don't have like a getting into character dance or anything like that.
But you should.
I should. I should come up with a getting into character dance. But thank you for this question.
Hi, how's it going?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Outstanding.
Well, trying to keep this very family friendly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you ever use your vocal talents to enhance your relationships?
I understand
the question
with there.
But I would have to say no.
Yeah, we try to keep our work and personal lives separate for the most part.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that's not the first time that question has been asked.
No.
But using our talents for evil?
Definitely for evil.
Yeah, unless it depends on what you call making fun of telemarketers when they call by using weird voices. That's using it for good, isn't it? That's what I thought. Yeah, exactly. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Excellent jacket, by the way.
How's it going?
Thank you. Let's see. What's the most vocally stressful moments in either anime or video games?
Ooh,
there are a lot of those.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the anime. Because if you're doing a show that's more like a girl's Bravo, it's just being silly and giggling and running around. If you're doing a show like Naruto, there's a lot of fighting. And so fighting is naturally more vocally stressful because you're screaming and grunting and getting punched and doing kicks and all of that sort of stuff. Which is also the same to say, if you're doing a video game, that's more like a Carmen Sandiego kind of video game where you're just talking and having interaction that way, it's going to be less vocally stressful. Whereas if you're doing a Call of Duty or something like that,
or a dot hack
GU, you're going to have a lot more screaming and yelling. So it's not necessarily video games are always hard and animation is always easy, but depending on the type of title that you're working on, vocally stressful can either be because you've selected to do a voice that's kind of out of your range, so it's more difficult for you to achieve. So even if you're just speaking for 4 hours, if you're speaking sort of slightly out of your vocal natural range, that can be difficult for you. Or if you're doing something like yelling and screaming and really high impact stuff, that can also be very difficult.
Yeah, I have on occasion for an audition come up with a voice that I think sounds really cool, and didn't think about, oh well, if I had to do that for 4 hours, if it doesn't work, don't sweat it. We're fine. But if
it's really okay. We have enough questions. It's fine.
I don't want.
Don't
push you guys to it. You guys can watch Shelf Life online. I highly recommend it. Shelflifeseries.com is it's good fun. And it has and co-stars and cameos many of probably your favorite voice actor friends. And most of the cast of Critical Role if you watch Critical Role. But occasionally I will come up with this cool voice, like, oh, that sounded really cool, and didn't think, can I do that for 4 hours? Because I could do that for 30 seconds for an audition, but if I had to do a video game session for 4 hours, how would that turn out? and I have backed myself. I've painted myself into a corner many times. I would like to say that I've learned my lesson, but I haven't, because I did it just the other day again.
No. Yuri.
I know.
Why?
And it was, yeah, and I was like, it sounds cool, and it was like this, you know, for this, it's really great, you know. They're like, they'll never cast me. It's like, oh, they cast me? Wait, so I have to do that? Wait, I have 3 sessions, 4 hours each of doing that voice for, okay, I guess I better get a lot of sleep and drink a lot of water.
Have you already started recording?
Yeah, that was for...
Oh, yikes. Okay, good job. Yes, good job.
So that's, for those of you who are getting into this business,
Yes. Be careful.
make sure, yeah, when you're auditioning, make sure it's a voice that you can sustain for 4 hours at high intensity. Because the worst, you know, thing you can do at that point, if you can't sustain it, the worst possible thing that can happen is for you to actually get the job.
Yeah.
Because
then you might get fired.
you might get fired.
But we all get fired. So
we all get fired, but yeah, or you might hurt yourself.
Yeah, which is
And I have done.
more scary, I suppose. But thank you, that was a great question.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You guys are great.
Thank you. Hello, how's it going?
Hi, I'm Gabriel.
Hi, Gabriel.
I want to know, what was your favorite part about playing Yosuke from Persona 4?
Yosuke from Persona 4 is just me getting to be goofy me. And I didn't have to worry about trying to be cool or anything, which is also sort of me in real life. I'm really not very cool in real life. And so it was very easy for me to key into that awkward thing. But he is very good-hearted, you know?
Which is also like you in real life.
Which is also like me in real life. And has, you know, a strength of conviction. And he's there for his friends. So maybe I like playing Yosuke because it was easy for me.
Thank you.
And I just love the Persona, the world, the universe of Persona, all the games.
How was it voicing with all the other actors?
Let's see, we never really got to record any of Persona together at the same time. All the sessions were separate. But if I sort of go down the roster of most of the people who were involved, we're all friends. So it's always nice being involved in a project with friends of yours.
I want to request, can you recite the Juness theme as Yosuke?
The Juness theme is the...
Every day is great at your Juness?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the tune. Is it, every day's a great day at your Juness, or something like that, isn't that? You guys probably know it better than I do. No, I'm clearly an awkward loser just like
That's a nice try.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
When you were playing Shinra, did you ever think about what it was like for him to watch Izaya and Shizuo fight all the time?
I had to think about that, obviously, and it's really funny because as you go through the series, you get we get to flash back into high school and see how they all kind of got together and met. Yeah, I guess in a way Shinra was always sort of the referee between those guys fighting, and yet there was nothing he could do to stand between them. You know, they always fought before, they're always going to fight now. And sometimes Shinra's going to get stabbed because of it. Yeah, it was an interesting dynamic. It was one of the things also that made that relationship interesting and that show interesting.
Okay, I'm just being aware of time. I want to get through the whole line.
Yes,
I don't want
that's
to.
how we. Okay, great. Thank you for that
Thank
question.
you for the question.
Hi, I'm Romeo. How did it feel voicing the final battle between Naruto and Sasuke in Storm 4?
It's going back to that question of what's vocally stressful.
That is vocally stressful.
Scenes like that. But it's also hugely emotional. You know, you get to the end of, 600 episodes of material and a whole relationship between those guys. That's, and the director really wants it to be good, so that when you guys hear it, you're hearing the accumulated, 600 episodes coming clean in that. So it was also kind of cathartic to finally get to that point. But super fun, and I don't think I could speak the next day. So we left it all on the field, as they say in sports, right?
I guess. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Hi. My name's John.
Hey, John.
And I was just wondering, were there any voiceover actors that you guys find inspiration for, your heroes, mentors, or you're just big fans of?
So many.
it's a very supportive community and a very talented community. It's hard not to, be inspired by both, people before I got into this business and
our
watching
peers.
people,
Yeah.
around us now.
I mean, it's hard because when you look at what we think of animation and the voices that go along with animation, sort of the style has changed over time. So if you look back at like the old Disney cartoons and like
Warner Brothers.
and Warner Brothers and Mont and things like that, there's a very different style to that voice and even to the animation, to the art as well. And so you can look at that and you can be so excited and impassioned because you see what they did and you can sort of revere what they did, and then now you look at how things have evolved and changed, and you can look at people that are sort of currently working and you can admire what they're doing. But there's even people like June Foray who's been doing it for
Forever.
not really, but
yeah, there's
like,
a legacy to that. But and those people represent, for me, before I even thought that this could be a job. I just looked at those people like they were on another planet. And now getting to work in it and getting to work with people who were, truly talented and who weren't around back then. The Nolan Norths out there.
and even people like D. Bradley Baker, who can do
Tata Short, Steve Bloom. And
all those creature voices and noises and stuff like that. It's exciting to be a part of that world with them.
Mm-hmm. So they're constantly inspiring us every day.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I just had a quick question. Are you guys doing any autographs?
We are actually.
Autographs.
Wait. Immediately following this, we have a photo session wherever the photos
Next to autographs.
are.
Right next to it.
And then immediately following the photos, we have autographs.
Okay, what time would that be?
That'll start.
After this.
Right.
Yes.
After this, why don't probably start going.
Okay.
Yeah. Right
Awesome.
on.
Thank
so
you.
bring whatever it is in your hand. You bring that up later, and we'll see.
Yes, and then we'll do photos and then autographs.
Hello, my name is Brianna.
Hi, Brianna.
I don't mean to be too deep, but I know you don't know me and I don't know you that well. And I was wondering, if you really want to get close to someone that's in your job or someone that you really admire, what would you do to kind of make that connection?
You mean to create a friendship with someone, to like reach out to someone outside of your social circle? Well, I suppose that...
Would they be in the same city as you, or more removed by distance?
Probably in the same city.
Okay, well first what I would do, because we have this wonderful thing, social media and social networking, I would try to see, because so many people's circles kind of overlap a little bit, I would see what the degree of separation might be to sort of see how connected we might be just naturally. Because I think anytime there's a natural connection, if a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend of a friend, it makes it a little easier. I mean, honestly, that's even how you want to find people. Like, you're like, oh, I need a dentist. You don't usually just go to the Yellow Pages. Usually you ask people that you know and you
What's
say...
a Yellow Pages?
Yes, okay, thank you, haha. Usually you ask people that you know and you say, hey, I'm looking for a dentist, who would you recommend? And you find out personal recommendations, because that's what we trust our circle of friends, because we've cultivated and we've curated our circle of friends. And so I would see who in your circle might know someone in their circle to see if you could come in contact naturally. If you're completely separated and there's no connection between the two of you, then I would see if on social media, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook or any other, Vine is
There's so
gone.
many things
I don't
we
know
probably
what-
don't even know about. Snapchat.
I don't know. But I would see about reaching out and trying to forge a somewhat relationship by finding commonality there and seeing like, oh, you just posted a picture of the thing and then comment on it, so that way you have something to sort of create.
Instagram, Tumblr, all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean, there are lots of ways to find out what a person likes and what they're talking about and what gets them excited online. I mean, just to look at my Twitter feed, you'll know everything you need to know about me, unfortunately. And see if you find, if you have commonalities there, something you can start a conversation over.
And then
and go slow.
Yeah,
with that.
because usually if you're sort of getting a cold call from out of nowhere and you're having to create from scratch a relationship with someone, it usually takes longer than if there's already some reason. Like if you're in class together, it's a little easier because there's the commonality. If it's completely two worlds apart and you don't have anything to do with what that other person has to do with, it's going to be a lot harder to build the common understanding. But that's what we look for. We look for, well, do you like the same music, or do you like the same, I don't know, style or art or movies, or there's something that you can find a similarity between so that you can converse about it.
Yeah, that would be.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good luck.
Sorry to come back up.
That's
here,
okay,
but I
welcome.
had to once I found out you were Zero in Dragon Guard.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, how different was it playing someone like that versus someone like from Girls Bravo, like you mentioned before? And
yes,
what was the relationship for you playing Zero and his character, the little crazy boy?
Yes.
I was a little crazy.
He was a little
boy in
crazy
that.
boy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the difference between playing Zero in Drakengard and my character in Girls Bravo is just like I was saying earlier, it's kind of a point of view. So Zero is so focused on doing the right thing and making things right in her mind. And I'm not saying what she's choosing to do, and I'm not saying, you know, killing and all that stuff is necessarily the path, but in her mind, in this game, that was sort of what she was going for, and sort of a sense of revenge and finding the sisters and all of that, and getting back to what she believed was the right path. That was really her focus. When you're doing a show like Girls Bravo, it's really silly and funny, and you can't take yourself or the material too seriously. So it's really just about finding the humor in it. Because if you're trying to take it too seriously, I don't think it reads. I think it sort of comes off, I don't know, like you're making fun of it on some level, and that's not what you want to be doing. And so I think that's the difference between working on those two particular titles. And then my relationship with, is your character Ditto?
Yeah.
It looked like Ditto to me whenever I would read it. But it's Ditto. I just got a kick out of the fact that I knew that I was playing with your character, even though we don't record at the same time. We recorded at separate times.
Yeah. It was fun getting to play out a different dynamic than we have in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. And yeah, I mean, we're pretty even-handed in our relationship, but but Ditto is this total submissive, character in the game. It was fun. Yeah, it's a crazy game.
That was a crazy game. I have a beautiful art. Yeah, thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
And quick question: have either of you actually played or beaten Catherine?
I've never even played Catherine or
We've
beaten
seen playthroughs.
Yeah.
Like we'll watch playthroughs.
I know. It's hard to. Once upon a time.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're a voice actor. That's yeah.
Sorry, this Drake Fago is really good. There's nothing else in it.
Sugar drug.
Once upon a time, I tried to play everything that I worked on, and then thankfully, I've worked on so many things that I don't have time to play them in the way that I used to. Also, I have a baby, and trying to maintain a career together and a relationship, and I just don't have the time that I used to have, or to be able to commit to playing video games. The last thing I played all the way through was Bayonetta, I think. That was the last game. And then I always have these high hopes, and always buy the game, like the game will come out and be like, yes! And I put it by the TV, and I keep updating my systems, I'm PS4 and, Xbox One, and then the stack of games just gets higher and higher, and sometimes I don't even unwrap them anymore. Like every now and then I'll unwrap it.
It's
like,
a shrine to
I'm gonna do it.
It's a shrine to video games that we'll never get to play.
I know. Like, the new Battlefield World War I just, came out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play. I'm totally not gonna play that. I want to play that. There's so many things I want to play.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
And you guys are our last two questions because we're starting to run out of time.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yes.
Hi, my name is Steven.
Hey, Steven.
Right, so Mr. Yuri, I noticed you name dropped Dot Hack GU earlier, and I was just wondering, while you were doing the voice work, did you ever think there were any similarities between Haseo and Sasuke, like personality-wise?
Absolutely. And, I wonder if they even thought of me for that role because of the work that I had done for Sasuke. But while there are a lot of similarities, I think that Haseo's different in that he makes a change. You could argue that over 600 episodes, Sasuke makes a change too, but Haseo did it in 3 games. And that he learns as he's going. He starts off as this really immature, petulant kind of guy, and who just thinks for himself or about himself. And by the end of the game, the GU stands for grow up, and he does that. By the
We
end
should
of
have named
it,
it Naruto GU.
if we had only named it Naruto GU, Sasuke might have grown up a lot faster. But by the end of it, he's fighting for his friends as opposed to for himself. So the similarities are there for sure. But
who has the
I
better
got to take a
costume?
different journey. And who has the better costume? Haseo.
Okay, there you go.
Only time I've ever cosplayed.
Thank you.
And you, sir, are our lucky last question.
Lucky me. Terrell.
No pressure, no
pressure.
I'm Terrell.
Hey, Terrell.
Nice to meet you.
Like the Terrell Corporation from Blade Runner?
No,
Okay.
that would have been nice though.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Yuri, I have a question. Do you mind saying Chidori in Sasuke's voice?
Because you're the last question, I will do that. If you had been the first question, I'd be like, oh man, now we're just gonna get people to have me yell Scathe, and then by the end I'll be, but yes, we will end on that.
That will be our end.
Is
Thank
everybody
you
ready?
guys so much for coming. He'll say it in 1 second. Thank you guys so much for coming. We are going from this to the photos, and then from that to the autographs. So find us if you would like.
And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna add something after the Chidori, which is another thing that we had to yell over and over and over again over the course of the series. But I was just thinking of it. So here's what you asked for. Chidori! And here's the last one. Naruto!
Thank you guys so much.
So much. We'll see you hopefully in autographs and photos and stuff like that.